Hi, welcome to Wealthy Mindset. My name is Oliver. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you're having a great day. In today's video, I'm going to cover AMC stock starting from April 26th trading day and the next couple of trading days after that follow. Going to analyze the graph to give you the lows and highs, essentially price target predictions. Now, quick disclaimer before I begin. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a professional. And everything I do share with you is just my opinion. It is not advice. So please do not buy or sell based off information I give you or the opinions I do form. Please do your own due diligence and research before buying and selling. Now, if we're looking at the graph, I think we're in good shape, to be honest, because essentially I think we're going to the upside. And I'm going to explain why overall, but we closed at $10.16 as of April 23rd, 2021. Now, the following reasons is because the MACD line right now is trying to cross over to a positive on the 1 month chart. Now, can it get knocked back down? Yes, it can, and I'll explain this whole entire stuff. It might look like a mess, but it's going to make sense. Before I do, 1 year chart right here, trying to cross over to the positive as well. So again, we could still get knocked down, but so far, it's like pretty close to having a decent run up, I would say. And by decent, by the way, I don't mean like catabolic to the upside like crazy, but like at least a decent run up. So 5 year chart as well, curving up to the positive. So that's another good sign. And the reason why, so in case you're new to the channel, the significance of the MACD line is it's like the moving average in terms of how is it moving? Is it bullish or bearish? Right now, it's bullish for the 5 year chart, so it's optimistic, and it's in the bearish movements for the 1 year chart. So like even though it's almost going to cross over to the positive, it's still in the negative, so it's still bearish. So technically not optimistic, but it's going to be almost. And the 1 month chart trying to cross over to the positive, but it's still bearish and it's not optimistic yet. Now, technically, so let me just zoom out a little bit. So there's two downward trend resistance lines I want to talk about. So this downward trend resistance line from January 27th, January 28th, coming down here, knocked us down right here in middle of March as well. And then we have another one down here that we passed through. So once we passed this downward trend resistance line, that was good. We had a pretty decent run up, I think. It was not too bad. Plus we had a upward trend support line right here, even though it's not the cleanest, but when we came back down, bounced off it, went up to the upside, had these two downward trend resistance line right here. So I might be going all over the place, but so the red right here, downward trend resistance line, it's a double downward trend resistance line, double downward trend resistance line here as well, and bounced off as support. So resistance lines could act as support and support lines could act as resistance. And then upward trend support line right here, but this one is a support line right here, this one if you follow my cursor, but this one acts as more as resistance. Yes, there's times it acts as support right here, support, but it acts as resistance as well right here and right here. So there's a reason why I'm showing these. And then upward trend support line right here with multiple touch points. Yes, there's false breakouts here and there. So for example, touch point right here, touch point right here. There's a touch point right next to the false breakout right there. So there's that. Now, the thing is though, went essentially down on support, resistance, broke through support, and then yet bounced off support, hit resistance, came back down on support, resistance, support, resistance, and then technically, so above all three moving averages. So that is a good sign. MACD line is trying to cross over to the positive. That could be a good sign that we could break up to the upside. The only thing is though, there's an issue. Even if we go to the upside, we might get knocked down at like the $10.50 range, which we did not get to yet as of April 23rd, but could get knocked down around the ballpark of plus or minus $10.50. If there's so there's resistance, horizontal resistance at 10.55. Yes, there's horizontal resistance in the 10.60 range, but essentially 10.50 by the way. Depending on when we meet this upward trend resistance line, we could get knocked down all the way up to 10.60, I would just say. But depending on when we meet it, even further a little bit. But we have a lot of resistance at 10.74 to 10.81. So between $10.74 to $10.81. So even if we do pass it, we could hypothetically get knocked down. Hopefully this upward trend support line acts as support, or upward trend resistance line right here that we're going to probably get knocked down on, but hopefully not. We bounce off it as support. So essentially like this. So let's just say we cross over and then we're fine, get knocked down by 874 or 1074, 1084, 1074 to 1081. Hopefully not, but if we do, come back down and bounce off support at the 1060 price point and then go up to the upside. Again, depending on when we pass it, depending on when we meet the upward trend support line, resistance line, so on and so forth. Now, I'm going to cover the upside first before I cover the downside, and I'm going to cover horizontal resistance levels as well and support levels, but I just want to get to the main goal first. So if we pass the resistance levels, blah, 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 etc., what we want to do is pass this downward trend resistance line that dates back since January 27th, January 28th. And to do that, if we do it right off the bat, you need to pass essentially $10.63, $10.61 for the most part, which is going to be quite difficult. And the thing is too, it's like that $10. So, or sorry about that, $11. I'm pretty sure I said $10.61 or something, but around $11.60 range. The only thing is though, it coincides with this range right here of quite a bit of resistance overall. So I could see us getting knocked back down even if we hit 1189. So we have resistance between 1160, like the 1160 range, and 1189, like $11.73, $11.70, and then there's more in between as well. But pretty much would have to pass 1189 because I think we would get knocked down because there's quite a bit of horizontal resistance at 1189. So 1189 would be a decent sign that we're going to pass it. Then we would get into the higher ranges, which I'm going to cover just in case for covering the next couple of weeks or next few trading days as well. So in case if we go catabolic to the upside, you have resistance between $11.98 to $12.05. $12.02 is quite a bit of resistance as well. Then you need to hit $12.23, and those are horizontal resistance as well. Then $12.49, and then get back up to the $12.60 and so on and so forth. I'll elaborate more if we see that, but I think that might be in the next few trading days, maybe a week or so, give or take. Now, to even get to that level, once we pass, so we already have, so let's just say we go to the, like I said, 1050 range, but before we do that, let's see what's the resistance that I wrote down. So we close at 1026, so we're gonna have resistance at 1016, we close that, so we're gonna have resistance at 1026 range, 1043, and then the 1050 range. And then after that, like I said, 1074 to 1081. After that, we have resistance at 1095 to 1092 range, 1090 range in general. Then we have resistance at 1098 to $11, $11 to $11.14, and then the $11.22, $11.30 to, or $11.28 to $11.30, then $11.40, $11.49 to $11.51 to $11.55, and then $11.60 range like I mentioned. Now, I'm pretty optimistic that actually we're going to get to that range, to be honest, somewhere in the $11 price point. Now, the only thing is though, like I stated, technically these lines have not crossed yet for the MEC line. So we could get knocked down at the 1050 range. That's the thing. So I would not put all my eggs in one basket to expect that, like hypothetically, the 1050, not even the 1050 range, like I stated, most of the resistance is at 1074, 1081. So we might not even see $11 and just get knocked back down. That's the unfortunate part. So again, nothing's guaranteed. Nobody knows for sure, but that is a potential scenario that could happen. Now, if we get knocked back down, so this downward trend resistance line did act as support one time, so let's just act it as support in case, and even this one too. So if we get knocked back down, we could go down to $10.13. Well, okay, so we have support at $10 and $10.12 anyway, between that level. So that's going to be quite a decent amount of support. Plus, by the time this moving average crosses over, it'll be at the $10 price point anyway. It's at $9.99 right now, but could act as support. Then if we drop lower, we have support at $9.78. Yes, we have support throughout the whole entire thing, but I wouldn't say they're necessarily the strongest, so I think we would trickle down to $9.78 anyway. But let's see if this one acts as support by the time we meet it. Yeah, so pretty much, yeah, pretty much would drop down to 970 range anyway. So like the high 970s though. And then if we break that, we would trickle down to the first moving average as support, but then this as support as well. So around the 960 range, 970, between 960 and 970 range as support with this upward trend support line right here. Then the moving average too coincides in the mid 960 range as well, so the 967, so on and so forth. And then after that, coinciding with this, so you're going to be trickling with like crossing over with the moving average right here as well at the 950 range. And there's horizontal support at the 950 range as well, between 950 to 947, 944. And then hopefully it doesn't trickle down any lower. If it does, a lot of horizontal support at 927. And then there's horizontal support at 911, but then $9 as well. And then I don't think this is going to happen, to be honest. I think we're going to go to the upside, but in case if you want coverage, $9 of support, and then $8.99, $9.15, or sorry about that, between $8.99 to $8.95, and then ultimately hopefully bouncing off this up horizontal support level right here that yes had a false breakout, but I'm pretty sure we would bounce off it, in my opinion. This is just my opinion, not advice, but $8.80, $8.76, around that range. If we have a false breakout, I'll elaborate more on that. Maybe don't put too much faith on this horizontal support level because it did have a false breakout, but it's up to you though for that case. I think in the meantime, as long as we don't trickle down lower than this range right here, about like 950, I think we'd be fine. If we break 950, I would be hesitant because then, yeah, you'd probably start trying to test this, but I'll keep you updated if anything drastic happens. Okay, so that's basically it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. If you did like it, consider dropping a like. It does help out the channel. Thank you so much for that. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. I'll try and answer them as soon as possible. And if you like videos like this or other stock videos, consider or financial videos that I'm going to be posting, consider subscribing so be notified the next time I do upload those videos. And that's basically it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.